right, let me make sure I'm still sharing my screen. Cool. Okay. So this will be, whoops, this will be our breakdown from the 18th to the 23rd of May. So starting off, let's just start off with the pairs that we didn't have last week. So let me just wipe everything off of here. Okay, so are we pulling back to an area of interest or anything like that? Um, this is a very ugly area of interest. Let's move this up like this. We have one touch, two touch, three touch. We could do it. Oh, this is on the daily. Okay, we don't even want, like, we already started off bad. Let's go to the weekly. The weekly, honestly, I don't like it. I don't like it because we wicked into this area. Okay, so that's done. GU, the weekly is moving super sideways, and we don't really have an area of interest as well too. Because like it would basically, there's only two taps there. Oh, I think I have to sneeze. Okay. Euro NZD, not at a weekly area of interest again. Can't do counter trends because it's right there. USD PLN. We're leaving until next week. So what's going on here? We've had a pull back to this level here. Yeah, you got one touch, like basically one touch, two touch, three touch, four touch, five touch, six touch, seven touch. So we're at the area of interest now. And then what's the daily saying? The daily would need to shift structure. So weekly take profit would then be right here, this weekly structure point. But if the daily kind of shift structure on there will kind of be already there. So we would want then for the daily to kind of like break above, then break below, and then it can do that, but it's very close. So this would need a daily shift. We need a daily shift to structure. Okay. Euro PLN on the weekly. Um, the heck? Okay, this is bullish. I do not like this at all. Is it reacting off of anything? Okay, so basically it did react off of this area of interest, right? Oh, we have one touch, two touch, three touch. Yeah. So it did react off of this area of interest right here. The daily is currently bearish. So we would need the daily to shift structure. So maybe if it goes here, pulls back, and then we can go. So another one, Euro PLN needs a daily shift to structure. GBP, and it's not really reacting off a weekly area of interest. Um, yeah, and can't really do counter trends either. We switch. Counter trends would have to be up to here or basically there. Not interested. Use the NOK. What is going on here? Okay, let's see. I don't like this at all. Like, what's going on with the weekly here? Like, the weekly is like choppy and wiki. You don't want to do that because then the daily basically is going to be in the same spot. So that's what happens right there. Yeah. So basically, I'm not going to try because like last week, a whole 7 days, we've landed in the same spot. Another whole 7 days, another whole 7 days, another whole 7 days. It's like 32 whole days that's been in the same spot. So I'm not going to try to be the 34th. But GU, uh, GA, not at an area of interest. NZD, USD. All right, so basically, we've kind of already passed the counter trend point, unless we're going here. I would say this is the first point, so like this would be the first structure point here. So because it's past that, not really interested. What's the daily saying? The daily is bearish. I wonder if we try to target all the way down here since the daily is bearish. Daily's had like a proper pullback. What's the 4 hour saying? The 4 hour is still bullish, so the 4 hour needs to shift to bearish. Now we can try to take it down to there. We'll see how it all aligns. Um, we'll see how this pair lasts because, like I said, I don't like the fact that it's already past this point here for the counter trend. So it's kind of not really giving me hardcore sell vibes. Uh, Yeah, for the counter trends because we've already passed this point. Whoa, I don't know what's going on. Can't spell today or like type. Okay, so this one, I would feel like, okay, it's not the prettiest. I'm not even going to force it to be honest. CAD JPY, we are basically at take profit already. Weekly close, I guess this is the first weekly structure point. Not at weekly area of interest, and yeah, we wouldn't even have like take profit to kind of go to because it's basically already tapped into it. Counter trends would just be like right here. Yeah, there we go. That's the first weekly structure point. The next one would be basically here, and then the daily would basically be at take profit right away if it does shift. So I'm not interested in that. GBP CAD, what in God's name? Okay, let's see. We have, it's not at an area of interest. Why does this look so ugly? My brain can't. Oh, this is the daily. That's why. Okay. I was like, my brain can't comprehend what's going on. Okay, so the weekly already wicked into take profit. Not interested. USD SEK. We're at a lower low. TP would basically be here. Where do counter trends go? Counter trends. We've already passed the counter trend point, so not interested in counter trend. And the weekly would be very low, and the daily's all ugly. Okay, basically no range, daily's ugly. So no pro trend or counter trends. WTF, what's going on here? I'm not even interested in this. Euro, okay, we had a pullback, not at an area of interest. AUD USD. Um, Okay, so yeah, we can't take anything because it's basically at these points already. So we previous weekly buys the same bearish, but we're already there, so not interested. Use the SGD. We could look for counter trends possibly up to here. This would be the next weekly point. What's the daily saying? The daily would need to shift in order to do that. So I'm not really interested. And the weekly bias. Okay, so previous weekly bias. I always spell weekly as in weekly is bullish, so we'd have to be looking for buys. However, Euro JPY WTF is going on here. It's just, how does the daily look? Yeah, we would need like the daily to break out of all of this before. We need the daily to break out of that. Previous weekly bias is also, yeah, we're not interested in here. Weekly bias, well, we're at the area of interest, but look at all these wicks on here. It's gonna stay in there. Too messy. Weekly too messy, daily too messy. Euro HUF. All right. Okay, so we're having a pullback. Did we pull back to an area of interest that I like? Blah, 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 blah. One, two, three, four. We've kind of already broken through that. If we move it down to here, we only have one touch, not at an area of interest, basically. Euro USD. Definitely can't do counter trend trades because we've already went past this point on here, the weekly structure point. So, and I don't even think, let's see, we got one, two, how far back is this? 2020, 2019, can't go that far back. It does look like a pretty decent zone though, to be honest, even if we don't go back that far, like if we just stick to here, this would be 2020. Yeah, this would not be bad. What's the daily saying? The daily would need to shift. So basically, we just want the daily to go below, go above, go here, and pro trend trade. I'll just write pro trend so we know it's there. Okay, cool. Then we're just waiting for the daily. All right. So daily needs SOS. Just leave it, we'll move it after. Let me just move it now. Actually, you. ah, USD DKK, we've already passed the first point for the structure on here for a counter trend. And then the daily will need to shift. The bearish probably, yeah, daily needs to shift. So pro trend, we just need the daily to shift. Actually, the because we're pulling back here. Ba, ba, ba. I do not like that zone. That is just way too. We could do that. How far back is this? 2022. Perfect. Add a weekly area of interest, just need the daily to shift. All right. USD HKD would be looking next weekly structure point. We already passed this. Next weekly structure point would be there. The daily is bullish. The daily needs a proper pullback, first of all. First of all, daily needs a proper pullback. Okay. Oop. So daily needs proper pullback. All right. USD CZK. Basically add counter trend. No. Okay, we already did this. We need to mark it red. USD CAD. Same thing. Because we're not in the area of interest, we can't. Not an area of interest, not, what was this, 2020? Okay, maybe. Okay, okay. What is the daily doing? Daily needs to shift. Okay. CAD JPY. Cannot clear everything off of there. Weekly just absolutely looks disgusting. Previous weekly bias, bearish. If we're here, um, one, two, I don't really like it to be honest. It's not the cleanest. And then the daily's probably gonna look actually the daily doesn't look too bad. The daily would need to shift. Where's the weekly take profit? Weekly take profit would be here. So then at the daily would be, if the daily shifts like this, we would need it to pull back to then go there. At least have like a deeper pullback to then go here. And then, yeah, basically I've noticed like if the daily needs to have a shift, it usually doesn't happen this week. So we can see what happens. Why is this middle? Needs to have the daily shift. UK oil. What's the weekly saying? The weekly is pulled back. Did it pull back to anything? One touch, two touch. Don't like it. Yay. Just having a proper pullback. Did it pull back to an area of interest? Nice. Yeah. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, daily probably needs to shift. So the easiest way would be boom, 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 boom. Then we can take it back up here for the pro trend. So it needs a daily shift to structure. Euro HKD. Okay, we've pulled back to here. We have one touch. How far ago is this? 2019. Not interested. I don't know why that's in caps. I guess I really meant it. Use the czar. Okay, we've now shifted bearish on the weekly. Don't want to do a counter trend because it's only to there. Take profit would be here. For pro trend, Daily is bearish. Daily needs to have a proper pullback. Then go. That's what we're waiting for it to have a proper pullback. This is now done. GU. Right, this has shifted bullish there, so we needed to shift bearish. Okay, previous weekly bias did close bearish. We do have massive range until the counter trend on here. What's the daily saying? The daily is bullish, so we need the daily to shift to bearish. Let's get rid of all this. It's easier to see. Yeah. Let's get rid of all these. Okay. US oil weekly is pulling back basically here. So you could say we have one touch. This is all the way in 2020. How far back is this? 2019. Not interested. Okay. We've had, yep, we've had a pullback for our need daily. Looks like it needs to shift because this was the daily here. As this is pro trend. Okay. Euro HUF. Don't like this because I think it's going to be too close. 22. Okay, that's a valid area of interest. It's just the weekly take profit's going to be right here. So I don't, and the daily is also bullish. So the daily needs to shift, and it's not going to shift without hitting that. So maybe it does something like that. Who knows? Daily needs to shift. Okay, so all these are done. These are done. USD CAD. Oh, we didn't do HKD, did we? Yeah, we did. Okay, USD CAD. Um, Starting on the weekly. Weekly's had a pullback. Where did we pull back to? Yeah, not bad. Did break above a little there, but I would still count it. So we have one touch, two touch, three touch. These are all wicks that didn't quite make it into there. The daily is bearish. Okay, daily is actually bearish. So then the 4 hour needs to shift because this is the 4 hour. We could take profit. Pro trend. Okie dokes. Needs 4 hour shift. Perfect. Nothing in here. Active trades get these are no longer relevant. Did I journal this? Did I journal this? Okay, let me leave this on here because I don't think I journaled this. Okay, so let's see, weekly, weekly, not an area of interest, can't really do a counter trend because the weekly bias isn't confirming it. So this, not interested, not at week, no weekly bias. Um, can't do a weekly wick pullback because it's close bullish. Let me just do this because I need to journal this. So let me just go right here. And NZDJPY on the weekly. Weekly biases in our direction. Did we pull back to weekly area of interest? We're here basically now. One, two, this is 2020. Yeah, we can do it. Basically, we're kind of rejecting that level now, though, if you look. But we've kind of closed in there. This is not a valid because we only have one touch, so not valid. The other thing is like if you are rejecting off of an area of interest, so one, two, three, then you can look to see if it rejects off a daily area of interest as well too, and then go. But I don't really see a daily area of interest would be like here, so it would need to break and then retest it maybe. But I well, the weekly is bullish actually. So the weekly is bullish, but we have and it kind of like already whipped into take profit right there. Not wicked. I don't know how to spell wicked. Whipped into TP. Okay, so not interested. Okay, that's basically the full breakdown of how I do the weekly, and then you just hide these. That's not going to be interested. Needs pullback, needs 4 hour shift to structure. Nothing's going to be ready basically on Sunday or anything like that. So we just got to wait basically throughout the week to see what happens. Maybe what'll happen is around like Tuesday, Wednesday, midweek will kick in, and then everything will start shifting the other direction. So yeah, we don't got much to worry about, and that's the breakdown for the 18th to the 23rd of May. Catch you on the flip side.